Hi everyone. Good evening once again. So, with the previous one, we now move on to the next on the topic of AI and the future of sustainability. So, it's been a couple of years now already since the GPT 2022 moment, and we've seen the unprecedented growth of AI and how it has grown by leaps and bounds. Of late, though, certain alarm bells are ringing, and these are primarily with respect to the resource constraints that the globe as a whole faces. In fact, as part of my job, I get to read a lot of these sustainability and ESG reports. And I was skimming through the big tech reports from the last 1 or 2 years. And not to my surprise, actually, the resources, particularly when it comes to energy and water, have just shot through the roof. Companies had made their water neutrality and net zero emission commitments, but I think that now all just falls flat. Every company is in the growth phase, which is fair enough, but all this has come in a very, very unsustainable fashion. So it's a very pertinent question that we are asking at this point in time, that whether the growth in AI is coming at the cost of sustainability. So that is one of the points that we will be touching upon at length during this particular session. That would be taken up between Kundan and Madan. So before I hand it over to them, a quick round of introduction. To begin with, Madan, Dr. Madanmohan Rao is the research director at YourStory Media, a charter member of TIE Bangalore and innovation officer at Big APC. He serves as conference chair for Extensia's digital summits across Africa and was previously research director at the Asian Media Information and Communication Center in Singapore. Madan has authored more than 15 books on knowledge management, innovation, and digital media. He has delivered talks, lectures, and workshops in over 90 countries, bringing a global perspective to digital transformation and a creative leadership. Earlier, Madan was communications director at United Nations Inter-Press Service Bureau in New York and vice president at India.world Communications in Bombay. Welcome, Madan. Moving on to Kundan. Kundan Das leads sales and advisory at 4.0 Smart Industry Advisory, focusing on digital sustainability and the global energy transition. He drives transformative energy solutions through smart grid networks, advanced automation, and digital innovation with a mission to empower energy value chains for a sustainable future. Working closely with clients in the nuclear and renewable energy sectors, Kundan has developed deep expertise in strategy development, organizational redesign, and clean energy transformation. He is committed to diversity and equity, ensuring that sustainability initiatives reflect cultural sensitivity and broader stakeholder inclusion. Kundan helps organizations implement net zero strategies by integrating sustainable development principles with modern energy transition pathways. His work is guided by the Sustainable Future Energy Transition Strategy, which enables the design of efficient, low-carbon energy systems. Welcome, Kundan, once again. With that, I may just maybe pass on the stage to Madan and Kundan. So all is yours.
Great, thanks. Thanks everyone for coming here. This is a fantastic festival. Thanks to all the speakers, sponsors. A shout out to my co-founder Vinay Dora, who's streaming this on the internet as we speak, so other people can see what's happening over here as well. This is a very good time for this kind of conversation to happen in Bangalore. In fact, last month there was a very interesting festival called Nature in Focus. It is one of the top festivals for nature, films, photography, and so on. In 2 weeks, there's going to be another amazing festival in Bangalore called Echoes of Earth. I'm one of the unofficial brand ambassadors and fans of this. It's called the world's greenest music festival. They won an award for being an electronic music festival, which also promotes sustainability, recycled installations, and things of that sort. Today, we're talking about something else for which the stage has already been set very well. For example, in the morning, there was a very good question asked to one of the panelists on what is the carbon footprint of AI and what can be done to reduce the carbon footprint of AI, which is a topic that we talk about now. And the other question that came up in an earlier panel here was, how many of you are scared of nuclear? Anyone scared of nukes, nuclear energy, nuclear missiles? Well, okay. You got to convince them that they have to rethink and reframe this whole thing about nuclear. So, Kundan's going to begin with a short presentation, a few slides which will set the stage, so to speak, on what's happening with nuclear energy, AI, and so on. Then we'll have a small chat, and then we'll open it up to questions from all of you. So, Kundan, let's have your slides. Can we have the slides? On the pen drive, we'd given you the slides, yeah. Till then you can start.
Hi. I have a question to start with. Do you know what is India's position in the environment index? Anyone? Or
Scale of 130, 140 maybe?
so the total number of countries there participating is 180. What is India's rank? 2 years back we were 180, and this year in 2024 we are 176. Okay? If
Is it normalized on the population or is it?
it is primarily focused on the climate. So if I'll go for normalizing it population, then I have to also consider China, okay, in the similar scale. So they score much more than or much better off than us at this point in time. Okay, so now, do you know what are the key factors which is impacting our, or key components which are part of the climate change, if I may ask? We all talk about greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so greenhouse gas emission is the fundamental reason behind the climate change. Okay, and that's where we are going for 1.5 COP15, and now we are already at 1.6 plus. Okay, and soon we'll be at 2 or more than 2. Now the question remains is that the factors behind greenhouse gas, the key component is energy. And when I'm saying energy, it is primarily comes out of the fossil fuel. In India, unfortunately, our component of fossil fuel contribution is 78% in 2024, end of 2024. Now, you're going to play the, okay. So now the question is that if you take top 3 countries, that is number 1 in China, okay, which is in carbon footprint, but China's manufacturing contribution to the world is 31%. India is 2.7%, and we are at number 3, and US is number 2. Okay, but the energy transition investment of China in 2024 was 880 billion US dollar. India was 40 billion US dollar. Out of the total GDP of China, 4.7% is an investment towards energy transition. India is 0.2%. Now, all these are now factors which are going to see impact, because soon we are going to have carbon tax that is globally going to be adopted, and majority of countries are going to look for it. Now, if you look at the China story, the investment in the green tech, that is indirectly benefiting them in multiple segments. Talk about EV. In automobile, China's market share 10 years back was nothing. Today in EV, their market share is 42%. In EV, okay? In EV battery, their market share is more than 70%. Think about the Mahindra EV that you're using, it's actually using the EV of BYD. And in an automobile, the battery component is 35 to 40% of the total cost. So think about how the economy flow happens when the energy transition is the target. And the energy transition is a target for all the countries, including India. And unfortunately, we are the last in signing the energy transition, that is 2070. But now things are coming much more critical, particularly when AI is coming in. So we will today focus our all discussion around AI and how exactly AI is bringing the story of sustainability and how energy transition Is it playing? You have to make it PPT. I think this doesn't support. Okay, so I'll just try to capture a few of the slides. If you take in the last 200 or from 1900 to 2100, kids who are born or people who are born in 1950, okay, that time the climate change temperature was not that bad. It was pretty much good. Now they are experiencing, when we are standing right now at 2025, So those people who are born in 1950, they're 75 years age. And they're the one who are experiencing this 1.5 degree. And kids who are born in 2020, think about when they are 75, the climate change is going to be around 2.5. Now, we can talk about 2.5, 1.5. This is pretty small because between winter to summer, the temperature is more than 10 or 20 degree variation. That is a temporary variation. We are talking about permanent planet temperature change. Think about your body temperature. You got a fever, 102 degree, and that will not come down. What will happen to you? Climate change is that one. Now, it is all coming at a time we are facing this challenge. So this is what I was telling. Like, if we are taking a scale of 200 years, from 1900 to 2100, people who are born at this point, okay, primarily in this particular age group maybe, so we are already facing this 1.5 climate change, okay. Next. Okay. So now you are getting the, like, what exactly happening, okay, and it's not for us, it is for our future. And but whatever we are doing, okay, so we are creating the issue, but who is going to suffer? It's our future. But if we ask all of us why you are doing all your work and all your investment, it is for our future. But this is the investment we are doing. Okay, now go next. So we have a goal of 1.5 degree, but that we have already crossed. We are right now 1.6.76 around. Next. Now just play this video. So a Google search, which we have shifted from Google search to a OpenAI or ChatGPT search. In a Google search, the average consumption of energy from a data center used to be 0.3 watt. And now it has gone to completely like 10 times higher, or now it is in fact much more. It's 15 times higher because we are going on in larger model. So the LLM models is now changing. Then when we are creating these images, AI images, how much that is consuming? It is almost equal to making toast. Multiple toasts that we are making for our food, the amount of energy corresponds to making one particular image. When you are going for video, that is AI video, which is further related to the duration of the video, so depending on the smaller to a longer duration, the consumption is almost equal to multiple laptops continuously getting charged, up to 4 to 10 number of laptops getting charged. That is the consumption of energy. Now all these, and when I'm talking of the last one, that is Meta, so Llama 3, which is the latest one, that is consuming, or that particular model training has consumed 10 gigawatt of energy, which is equivalent to 27 million household consumption of energy. Now think about this. Now when such kind of investment is happening, and you know in AI what is the investment is going, and all the investments are going in data centers. Now this particular energy, if it is coming from fossil fuel, and we are at the beginning of AI. Now, if the same continues, and with the same kind of, like in India, we started with Andhra Pradesh with 1 gigawatt, okay, multiple, now there are 3 1 gigawatt which has gone to Andhra Pradesh. Now just think about what is the condition of our climate, which is, we are already at 176 and 180, we are fighting between the two positions, okay. But if we look at our youth, how much they are learning energy, to be very honest, not in any institute, including the top managements, okay. So this is the global data center consumption of data that's, you know, multiplying right now. There is absolutely, but the good part is that all these companies, they have money. So they're pouring money. The investment by only 5 companies, the AI companies, that is Meta, Google, Azure, and AWS, and now Oracle has joined the race. It is now more than multiple budgets of NASA, Ministry of Energy and all. Okay, it's in the range of around 400 billion US dollar for this year. Now, going next, this is the growth that is in US, particularly that is coming from data center. Now, what has happened is that out of the complete energy of US, before ChatGPT or OpenAI they started, The consumption of data center, US has maximum number of data center in the range of around 5,700 to 5,800. They used to consume 1.8%. At 2022, we are at 2025, it has gone to 9%. In 2030, we are expecting only data center will consume 15%. By 2050, it will go more than 40 to 45%, coming only from data center, and that's a new energy consumption. It is not a old energy shifting. That means EV, which is fossil, to electricity, that is a energy shift. But data center is a new energy. Similarly, on water, every 3 years, the water demand of a data center doubles. If you look at the major area like Texas, Virginia, which are the area with largest number of data center cluster, you will find everywhere the water bill and energy bill has shoot up. So this is what OpenAI's plan. Moving from 0.23 gigawatt, now gone to 250 gigawatt plan. Now, when I'm talking a gigawatt, if you look at Steel Authority of India, their plant, which is a fossil fuel coal power plant, that is 1 gigawatt. The complete steel industry takes that one. Now, OpenAI plan is that every data center is 8 gigawatt. Okay, so that is the kind of energy. Now, what exactly they are doing? Because now the question is that the amount of energy demand that they have, no country can supply to them. Now the question is, the grid doesn't support gigawatt of energy. You can't transport. You can't manufacture, because the architecture of energy is that you manufacture, then you transport. It is good for consumer, but not for data centers now. Now this is the change in pricing. This is the customer impact because of the price has gone up, because the energy demand has gone up. Now I'll give you these three guys, what they are. They're the AI guys.
Well, you touched on a great point with energy. I think it's hard to overstate how important energy is to the future here. Eventually, chips, network gear that will be made by robots, and we'll make that very efficient, and we'll make that cheaper and cheaper. But an electron is an electron. Eventually, the cost of intelligence, the cost of AI will converge to the cost of energy,
So this is OpenAI. OpenAI is the smartest guy, Sam Altman. He has invested in a company called Oklo. You can check it out, Oklo. Oklo is a company into nuclear reactor. They have not yet got their product. They're going to get their first revenue in 2029. But the stock has grown up last 1 year 900%. The market cap is $25 billion with no revenue. They have invested in another company which is fusion energy, similar to sun. Okay, now fusion is going to power the data center, not fission. So nuclear has two options, fission and fusion. Fusion is 4 times powerful than fission. So now their investment has shifted to fusion, okay, which is on helium. This is the next big guy, who is again?
As important as nuclear, both fission and fusion is, they're not going to arrive in time to get us what we need as a globe to deal with our many problems and the many opportunities that are before us. AI is a learning machine, and in network effect businesses, when the learning machine learns faster, everything accelerates. It accelerates to its natural limit. The natural limit is electricity. Not chips, electricity. In my recent testimony, I talked about the current expected need for the AI revolution in the United States is 92 gigawatts of more power. For reference, 1 gigawatt is one big nuclear power station, and there are none essentially being started now.
And there have been 2 in the last, 30 years built.
There is excitement that there's an SMR, small modular.
So that is Google's head.
Hyperscalers investing their money because they want to bet on where is the future actually going. And it was really interesting to find out that nuclear was number 1 as far as the top area where they're investing. Right now, the main question that people have around nuclear, and I'll ask everyone here, who wants a nuclear power plant next to their home?
Same to you.
Three people, right? The reality is that there's that stigma attached to it. Even been plenty of panels and conferences that talk about how safe nuclear energy is, there's still that fear of it being next to home. So the tech companies have come up with a solution for that. They just build small modular nuclear power right beside where they're going to be having their factories.
So that is what all the companies are now, where the actual money is investing. Okay? So if I'll ask again, because there are a number of, I think from academics, there are people around here, the students, how many of us are learning AI, okay, and how many of us are learning energy? Where the actual investment is going? No one. You go to even the big IIMs, nuclear, far off. Okay? IITs, far off. Okay, but if you look at the major, you can do your research. Google, Meta, AWS, AWS has a company in nuclear called X Energy. In last 2 months, they have placed 150 reactors order. In US, putting one reactor, the regulatory approval used to take 20 years. Now it's revised to 1 week. Every week, there are multiple reactor licenses are given. Coming back to India, in this winter session, we are going to have our nuclear bill, which is privatization of nuclear sector, which is, I think, December 2nd it is, and Prime Minister Modi has already, disclosed that. In last 65 years, our nuclear capacity is 7.8 to 8 gigawatt. In the next 20 years, our plan is 100 gigawatt. But look at our readiness, not there. Okay? So, going next. So this is what is happening. This is the investment. These are the companies which are, like all of you might be knowing NVIDIA. Yeah. They invest in a company reactor called TerraPower. Check it out. This is a great presentation. Blackstone CEO's investor meeting.
Well, it starts with the picks and shovels, with things like chips and data centers and power at massive scale. This is what you need to make this AI a reality. We have really focused on the right two circles here. And what's happening in this world? Well, CapEx spend in this world is up sixfold with just 4 companies, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, to $364 billion. To put that into context, that is bigger than the budget of NASA, the Department of Energy, and the Department of State. It's equal to 1% of the GDP of the United States. This doesn't include Oracle, which is now joining the party in a big way. These numbers are going to be even bigger next year. The scale of this is hard to fathom.
Oh, I've got a warning, so I have to close it.
Well, how is the U.S.
Just 2 minutes.
How are we playing this in the U.S. and around the world? With QTS, we have seen a tenfold increase in this company that we bought in 2021. It's grown from a $10 billion company to a $70 billion company. Pretty extraordinary. It's not just data centers, of course. It's power. I stole this graph from Sean Klimczak. Over 25 years, power demand in the U.S. was basically flat. Now it's projected to be up 40%. Why? Data centers, reindustrialization, autonomous vehicles, robots. My guess is this curve will be even steeper. We believe this is so powerful. We go back to the iconic 1967 film, The Graduate. You may remember this. This is Benjamin Braddock, a.k.a. Dustin Hoffman, getting some advice from Mr. McGuire. I was going to say one word to you. Just one word. Listen, just so power. Okay, I think you know he didn't say power. He said plastics. But if you have young college graduates, I would tell them power is the way to go. How are we?
Okay, now having said all this, now I'll give you another picture. This is our competitor, China. And this is a picture which they presented in one of the conference. I was there. Two things. We spoke about AI, we spoke about energy. In AI, China's patent is now 71%, India is 0.6%. We have largest number of AI education going on. Understand, AI is going to give opportunity to products, tools, which needs patent. Without patent, you can't do. AI is not services. Our software companies are behind AI services. Okay, but this is what China is doing. The same thing in energy, patent 75%. China holds global energy technology 80% supply chain. You talk about solar panel, talk about wind energy, talk about nuclear, talk about fusion, battery, storage, hydrogen, anything. China is number one. Accept it. Okay, but accept and work on it. These are facts, these are hard realities. Okay, this data is not given by Chinese. Okay, if you talk of our big institute like CII, NASCOM, they will never position things, unfortunately. Okay, because patent is not our interest. We are a services company. Okay, we are happy in 6%, 2% margin. Okay, thank you very much. No, I didn't scare anyone.
Shock and awe. Okay, let's just hear questions. Answers will be given afterwards. Quick question, just shout it out in one line.
One question I have regarding nuclear fusion, right? When we talk about nuclear fusion, how are we placed against China? How is China doing in nuclear fusion? And second is, how clean is the nuclear fusion? Because nuclear fusion generates a lot of waste.
Okay, we talk. Any other questions, comments? Yes.
I'm not against AI or anything as such. I also use a lot of it, but then my comment is, my suggestion, my ask of you today is that aren't we going against law of nature? You know, everything that we're doing, our footprints are all against law of nature. So just to know what your thoughts about this is.
Okay, one second, yeah.
Thank you. So, two quick questions. Firstly, the AI bubble that is happening in the US economy. That's one. Second, does this not lead to the idea that we might innovate in the sphere of power itself? Because how we're developing power for the last, I know, God knows, 150 years, it's been exactly the same. And would this not lead to us finding newer ways to generate power itself? Because power is going to be huge, like you said. And I've been following up on this quite as much. What are your thoughts?
Okay, no time for answers now. Answers will be given outside in the session outside. But thanks so much for your patience while we went through the glitches with the presentation. Thanks for being here for a fantastic audience. Nobody left when you were speaking, so that's a very good sign. A big round of applause, please, for Kundan. We will make this presentation available to you. You can catch myself or with Vinay, my co-founder Vinay. We'll share this presentation with you afterwards. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Maybe you can take a group photo. Vinay, come here. Let's take a photo of our team.
So come.
Background should be there. You will, okay, come here. If you leave a gap between.
Yeah, sure.
It's fine.